Hi everyone, it's Stacy. Thank you for coming on this yoga leap with me. Welcome back if you've been practicing with me for a while, and welcome to anyone new finding the videos for the first time. I'm filming this a little bit late at night. I've been away and I did cross a bunch of time zones, so I'm still kind of getting used to it. So I thought we would do something to just do some sort of bedtime, nighttime gentle stretches that would ease us into a nice deep sleep to help us get over any jet lag that we might be feeling. Or is that just me? So with that, you'll see I have no chair, but I'm mostly going to be staying on the mat, not any real standing or giant movements tonight, just a nice gentle bedtime yoga stretch. So if that sounds like something you want to go ahead and join me for, then I'll meet you on the mat and we'll get started. So, like I said, for the most part today, I'm going to be on the mat. I'm going to start seated. If you are practicing in a chair, that's fine. Any of the postures and poses can be done seated, on the floor or in a chair. Go ahead and make yourself comfortable in the chair. I'm on my mat here. And like every practice, we are going to start with a little bit of sort of grounding and breath work that just helps us get into the present moment. And even though the practice might not be super vigorous, you still want to take a few moments at the beginning just to land here and put aside any of the "oh, I wish I had's" and "oh, the what ifs," and just sort of find the focus and the presence to be here for the movements. So with that said, I'm going to start seated. You can start seated in any comfortable position, legs crossed. They can be in a half lotus or lotus if you feel ready for something like that. Or you could be on your shins, you could be seated on a block if that helps as well. We just want to find those sit bones, find a comfortable seated position. Maybe we can start just rolling the shoulders a couple of times and starting to relax into the moment. So you can roll the shoulders back and then forward as well. Just trying to loosen up a little bit, maybe even just lifting them up towards the shoulders and then letting them go. Let's do that again. And one more time. All right. So let's find a little bit of stillness. Eyes can stay open, maybe just turning the gaze down towards the floor, or if you prefer to close the eyes, that's fine too. We just want to start to turn our attention inwards a little bit and just notice what's going on inside of our bodies. How is the breath flowing? How are we feeling sort of in our gut? Are we feeling relaxed and happy? Do we feel any anxiety? How freely is the breath flowing? Is it deep or shallow? So just take some notice of the inside of your person, just noticing all of those sensations, acknowledging any feelings. And just maybe setting an intention here for the practice. It can be anything just like, I am grounded, I am present, I am calm, I am ready for a great sleep, whatever. Could be a little motto or mantra that you can repeat to yourself throughout the practice. And the breathing and the mantras all help just bring you back to the present moment, which of course is one of the main focuses of our yoga practice, just trying to be present for a small portion of our day. We've carved out the time for ourselves to make it to the mat. We want to just honor that by being fully aware and present. Check in with the body one more time. I was noticing my shoulders were crawling up, so I gave them the opportunity to relax back down my back. Stay here for another breath. And then if the eyes are closed, go ahead and flutter the eyes open. Let's just take a few big breaths to begin here. Inhale, reach the arms up, and then exhale as if they're moving through a thick substance like molasses or honey. And then inhale and exhale. One more, inhale and exhale. Let's find a little gentle twist here this time. We'll inhale, reach the arms up. As we exhale, we'll twist over to one side. Our right arm will cross the body. Left arm comes behind to support us. And notice gently guide our twist in a little deeper, still maintaining a nice tall spine. And then maybe if it feels okay, looking over the shoulder here. On the inhale, come through center, and then twist to the other side. Opposite arm crosses over, hand behind us helps support us. We maintain a nice tall posture, and if it feels okay, we can look over our shoulder. One more inhale. And exhale. On the next inhale, come through center. Let's just move with our breath for a couple of twists here. So inhaling and exhaling, twist. Inhaling, exhaling, twist. Good. Inhale through center. Draw the hands through center. Let's let them rest on our knees here. We'll just do a few hip circles, just rotating through the hips, noticing the weight shift from side to side. Maybe starting to feel a little bit of stretch in the side body, the hips as we move through these circles. Just trying to get all the parts of our body moving. So you could even sort of curl the spine and then pull the heart space through. We'll do a couple more in this direction. And then when we feel ready, if you are in a cross-legged position and feel the need to change the cross, go ahead and do that. And we are going to switch directions here with the circle. So circling in the other way, notice the weight shift. Notice any differences in this side of the body as we move in our opposite circle direction here. Noticing any creaks or cracks, any areas of stiffness. We'll do one more circle and then come up through center. All right, let's find our way to our all fours. So we'll just uncross the legs and we'll find our tabletop position as always, where we want to stack our shoulders and wrists and our knees and hips. Let's find our cat-cow. So the tops of the feet can press into the mat as well. We want to be engaged through the core here. Press the mat away. And then let's drop the belly, tilt the tailbone, and look up. This is our cow. We feel a nice stretch and opening through the front side body. And as we exhale, we're going to push that mat away again, splay the shoulder blades round through the spine. And then we'll inhale for our cow. And then exhale, cat back. Press that mat away, find the rounding in the spine. Couple more at your own pace. And then when you've completed that last round, think about maybe adding a bit more movement in different directions. So maybe thinking about doing barrel rolls here, or moving from side to side as well as cat-cow, or option to inhale through center and then look over one shoulder, drawing the same hip and shoulder together, creating a C shape to create a bit of extension and flexion on that plane of movement in the back. Or sticking with cat-cow, or even as we move through our cat-cow, moving the hips back and forth here. So really just looking for any kind of movement that gets the spine moving, gets the hips moving. There's no right or wrong. Just trying to loosen up through the back. And like I'm doing, I'm just sort of choosing a few different breaths and a few different movements. Let's do a couple more wherever you are. Find 2 more full cycles of breath. Remember to press into the hands and feet. And then when you've completed that last cycle, find that neutral spine. Make any adjustments to the tabletop if you need to. And then let's flow through a bit of core work just to find a bit of heat. So we'll step the left leg back, right arm comes forward if we feel stable. And then we can lift that leg off the mat to find length. And we'll inhale here. And then exhale, find that cat back, draw elbow to knee underneath the body. And then extend and inhale. Exhale. Inhale. And exhale. Let's do one more big inhale here. And then lower the hand and knee down. Make any adjustments. Find a couple cat-cows if that feels right here. And then we'll get ready for the next side. So extend that right leg. Left arm reaches forward. And if we feel stable, we can lift that leg off the mat. Take an inhale for length here. Exhale, find that cat back. Push the mat away. Make space underneath for the knee and elbow. And then inhale here. Exhale, cat back. Round, round, round. Scoop, scoop, scoop. Exhale underneath. Last time. Let's inhale for length and then lower down. So we found a bit of heat when we move through our bird dog, I think that's called. So let's just sit the hips back, find our child's pose. Now the option will be here for child's pose a number of times throughout the class. If you are looking for a more active, restful position and you feel ready for it, rather than child's pose, we have a couple of options. If you feel warm enough, we can come into puppy dog, which is a little bit similar to child's pose, a little more active. So the hips will stay up and the knees and hips stay aligned, and then the arms reach forward as the heart melts down. So you can picture this is like a puppy dog stretch, and it might look similar to downward dog, and that would be our other option if you're looking for an even more active rest pose. Lifting the hips up, bending the knees, connecting the belly to thighs, pressing the mat away, and drawing the chest towards the back of the room as well. Head comes between the biceps. Find that nice long back. Bending the knees as much as we need to. So we don't want to be in too much weight bearing over the wrist there. We want to think about pushing the mat away, taking the weight out of the wrist. We can bend those knees, connect the belly, and then we're in a nice stretchy downward dog. So those are our options. They're available at any time. I'm taking mine down a notch, coming into my child's pose. I can spread my knees wide, make room for belly and heart center. Wherever we are, we'll find 2 more cycles of breath. From our child's pose, let's lift the forehead. If we're in downward dog, maybe lowering the knees down, because we're going to come forwards, make any adjustments we need so that we can then lower ourselves all the way down to the mat here. We're going to keep our hands where they are, squeeze the backside body, roll the shoulders, and come into our cobra. So we're using our back muscles to lift up, not too much weight in the hands here. We're pulling the heart through, shoulders back and down, gazes off the end of the mat. Let's take another breath, and then we can lower down, relax for a second, and then make our way back through tabletop to our child's pose, our puppy dog pose, or our downward dog pose. So again, I'm taking mine down to my child's pose. It's what my body's needing tonight. Listen to what yours needs. Stay for a round of breath. And then we'll lift the forehead. We're going to do that cobra pose one more time. So we're going to come out of our child's pose, make any adjustments so that we can lower ourselves all the way down to the mat. Take an inhale here, lift the heart space up, squeeze the bum, squeeze the shoulder blades. Remember, not too much weight through the hands. Finding our cobra here. Stay for a breath. And then lower down. And one last time, pushing ourselves through tabletop and back to our child's pose, puppy dog pose, or downward dog. All right, if you're in downward dog, lower the knees down. And if you're in child's pose, we're going to start to pull ourselves up into tabletop, but we're going to step our right leg forward. So we're coming into a nice low lunge here. Hands are on the inside of the foot. You can even walk that right foot off the edge of the mat a little bit, turn the toes out, and we're just going to circle through the hips and find any movement in this lunge position. So we might find that because we have a bit of a wider stance here in the front, we've walked our right foot off the edge. We might even turn the toes out a little bit. It might just create more space in the hips. We can lower our hands down to the floor or the mat, or we can stay lifted. And we'll just find a little bit of juicy movement here. Let the hips be heavy. Make some circles with the hips. You might even find a nice stretch down the front of the leg if we send the hips back, feeling a nice stretch down the front leg. And moving back and forth, whatever feels okay here. Don't forget to breathe. We're looking for that nice sort of organic movement that we were doing in our cat-cows at the beginning of class, working deeper into the hips, finding a nice stretch down the front of the leg and the back of the leg. So stay for 3, wherever you are. For 2, keep moving. And 1. Okay, let's see if we can push the mat away, step that right foot back, and staying here for a few rounds of cat-cow or melting into our restful pose. Remember, we have child's, puppy dog, and downward dog available. When we're ready, we'll lift the forehead. If you're in downward dog, come on down or make your way to tabletop and then step that left foot through. And again, we're going to step the left foot off the edge of the mat a bit to create a bit more opening in the hips, and then we'll find that movement. So the hands can be on blocks or on the floor. We can be circling through the hips, seeing how it feels on this side. And as we move in circles, maybe we're getting a nice stretch down the hamstring as well. Just seeing how it feels to be in this big open stretch. Let the heaviness of the pelvis create a stretch down the hip flexors on the opposite side. Let the heaviness of the hips draw back. Find a nice stretch down the hamstring as we circle and move for 3. For 2. And 1. Pause where we are. Let's push that mat away as we lift our foot back. Awesome. Find a few rounds of cat-cow or straight into your restful child's pose, puppy dog pose, or downward dog pose. Find a couple rounds of breath. And if you're in downward dog, option here to walk the hands back towards the feet. Keep those knees bent, keep that belly draped, and just find a forward fold. Maybe take the opportunity to shake out the wrists a little bit, grab onto opposite elbows. Now if you're in child's pose, stay there, or come up to seated and swing the legs around, and you can come into a forward fold with legs out in front of you. All right, like I said, we're not going to be standing much. So if you're in your downward dog or your forward fold, you may need to walk the hands forward a bit just so you can lower down to the knees. Option here to uncurl the toes or keep the toes curled. We're going to sit back so that we're seated if it's comfortable with the shins on the mat and hands on our thighs. And from here, we'll just do a little bit of seated cat-cow. Inhale to open. Exhale to round. Inhale to open up. Exhale, round. Inhale, open. Exhale, round. Good. Let's come up to seated. And I'm just going to swing around a little bit here. And we'll come to sit on our tushes once again. But we're going to come into a wide leg forward fold. So we'll open up the legs just as wide as we can with toes pointed up towards the ceiling. Seated up nice and tall on the sit bones. If you find you're sort of rolling back and you need a bit of help, you can roll the mat up. You can sit on a towel or a block. That will help tilt the pelvis forward so that we're stacking and sitting up nice and tall. Okay, fidget, get all your shirts organized. Getting ready for our forward fold here. With a nice tall spine, let's start to walk ourselves forward. Keep the toes pointing up. If they start to droop in, ease off a bit. You might not be able to get very far, that's okay. Nice forward fold here. If you have the option to melt down, go ahead. Feel a nice stretch down the inner thighs. And then when we're ready, we'll lift our forehead, walk ourselves back in. And from here, we'll bring that right foot in. Connect the sole of the foot to the inside of the thigh on the opposite leg. Let's turn towards the short leg here so that we find a proper side stretch. So we're not turning and folding our heart space down towards the leg. We're going to turn and face that short leg so that when we fold, we're getting a proper side stretch. It's a true side bend. So we'll reach left arm down, left leg. Inhale, sweep right arm up. And then exhale over. So you can see that the heart is facing forward. We're not turned down towards the leg. Nice side stretch. Stay heavy and grounded through this hip bone here and reach energy through the fingertips here. That's going to help lengthen and create that stretch down the side. Let's stay for 3. For 2. And 1. With the strength of our core, come on up. Let's, before we switch sides, just do another center stretch. Option to do that wide leg forward fold again, or bring the legs into butterfly. Sit up nice and tall. You can sort of butterfly the wings, or you can lean forward and have the elbows help separate the knees. And you can stay with a nice tall spine, reaching the heart forward, or if it feels better, melt down. And then when we're ready, we'll come on up to seated. We'll outstretch that right leg and just adjust the left foot so it's on the inner thigh here. Same thing on this side. We're going to sit nice and tall. We're going to turn towards that bent leg. We'll reach right arm down, right leg. Inhale, left arm up. Exhale, over. And just like on the other side, stay nice and heavy and grounded through the sit bone. Think about really gluing it down. Think about reaching up and over, finding that big stretch down the side. Heart space spins forward. You can sort of root into the right hand to help that happen. Finding our side bend here for 3. For 2. And 1. Use that core strength to come on up. Good. Let's just lean our hands back. Oops. What have I bashed here? My little fireplace. And then we'll windshield wiper the legs a little bit just before we make our way down to our backs. Do a few stretches on our backs. So when you feel ready, I'll just turn to face the length of my mat. You can go ahead and make your way down to the mat, whatever way feels safest and comfortable. If you're in the chair, sitting up nice and tall, if you're in the chair, you can start to draw one leg in, maybe even draw forehead towards knee, and then switch sides. And if you're on the mat, of course, that's an option as well. Or you can draw both knees in and rock side to side. Let's lower that left foot down. We'll keep the right foot up. We'll flex it. We're going to cross it over. We're going to do our classic figure 4 stretch to stretch the outside of the hips as well. And that side stretch gets a little bit of the hips, but it's nice to do a nice dedicated stretch to it. So if this is enough and the knee is You're helping guide the knee as open as possible, and you want more. If this is enough, stay here. If you want more, option is to, of course, lift the left leg, reach behind to create that thread the needle and that figure four. Finding a nice stretch down the right hip. You can stay in stillness here or rock side to side, whatever feels best. And we'll just stay here for 3, 2, and 1. Let's release that hand, release the foot. Good. Let's switch sides. So let's take that left foot, cross it over right leg now. And again, let's splay that left knee open. This might be enough for you, or you might want to come into our figure four where we reach behind the right knee, draw it in towards our chest as we roll the shoulders down and back. And now we're feeling that nice big stretch on the outside of the left hip. Oh, it's always so needed and often neglected. And then when we're ready, let's release the foot back down to the mat. Let's step both feet beside each other and walk them in close to our glutes here. Hands can come down onto the mat, palms turn down. And then we're going to come into a gentle bridge. So when we're ready, we'll press into the hands and feet. We're going to peel and lift the spine off the mat, one vertebrae at a time, starting with the tailbone, low back, mid back, upper back. Find that nice opening through the front side body here for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Let's lower down. Shake it out, curl into a ball, step the feet wide and windshield wiper if that feels best, whatever works here for you. And then we'll come back for round 2. If wheel is in your practice and you want to practice wheel, go ahead. You can flip your hands and come up off the neck and head if that's in your practice. If not, hands down by our side. On the inhale, start to lift up. We're going to lift from tailbone, spice, candy, I don't know what I was thinking there. Thinking of dreaming about candies and lifting the tailbone up. And then lowering it down one vertebrae at a time. Unrolling against the mat. And again, option here to windshield wiper, curl into a ball, or if Happy Baby is in your practice and you can reach the feet up towards the ceiling, reach for the ankles or the soles of the feet. Draw the knees down towards the side body here. Find a nice opening. Try to get that back down on the floor. Try to curl the tailbone down on the floor here. Find a nice big opening. In Happy Baby, you can rock side to side. You can stay in stillness, whatever feels best as always. Then you can choose to stay in your Happy Baby here, or maybe you want to start to lower the feet down, but you're still looking for a little bit of an opening. You can come into a reclined butterfly, soles of the feet together, knees come open, and then maybe you want to open the arms up as well. This might be a nice place to end tonight. It's quite vulnerable, but also after all of that stretching and dreaming, as I was dreaming about candies there for a moment, this might be a nice relaxing place to finish. And if not, if this is not for you and you want to come into a traditional Shavasana, go ahead and stretch the legs out in front of you, bringing your arms down by your sides, palms turned up, or you can be resting your hands on belly and heart center and taking a few deep breaths to settle into Shavasana, scanning the body just to see if there are any areas we're still holding on to any tension, and we can just breathe a little loving kindness that way and let it go. Shavasana is the time for our physical and energetic bodies to absorb all that good work we just did and turn it into something magical. It's a time for integration and rest. And know that rest is different from sleep and that we need both every day. And we should never pass up an opportunity to just rest and do nothing. And the beauty of practicing through the lens is if your body wants or needs to stay in Shavasana for any longer, go ahead and press pause now or let the video play out and stay exactly as you are. If you're ready to bring a bit of movement, get on with your day or evening, maybe crawl into bed from here, go ahead and wiggle fingers and toes and circle wrists and ankles. Just gently waking the body up as much or as little as you'd like. And once we're all settled in, ready to come out of Shavasana, we can take a big breath. We can inhale, sweep our hands up overhead. Exhale, draw the hands down. You can rest them in prayer or just over heart center or back down on your lap. I want to thank you so much for allowing me into your personal private yoga practice spaces, for allowing me to guide you through this gentle, sleepy yoga. Definitely worked on me. I hope it worked on you. And until we get a chance to practice again, take care. Thanks, everyone. I hope that practice came at the right time and that you have a wonderful sleep tonight. See you again next week. Bye.